Hi, my name is Jessica Vega, and I'm here to talk about the English learning, the development of how English learners learn in Arizona. Let's start. What is an English learner in Arizona? Well, English learners are the students that they speak a second language that is not English, and they don't know enough English, so they can learn in English speaking classroom. What is the demographic in Arizona? Well, as you can see in the graph, 50% of the population of the students are Hispanic, and the other ones are other races, like African, Asian, white, Pacific, and Native Americans. Right now, for our purpose, we're just going to focus on the Hispanic and Native Americans. So, the language home population, other than English, is Spanish, 70%, as we said before in the other slide. 50% of those of the students are Hispanic, so it makes sense that 70% of the students speak Spanish. The other 10 speak Navajo, and the other 20% speak another language. Um, this takes us to how do they learn? Well, there in Arizona, there is the sheltered English and the structured English immersion. What they use the most is the structured English immersion. But the difference between these two is as a structured English immersion, it teaches only in English, and it teaches English language skills, and they don't have groups. They don't divide the students in groups. So it doesn't matter what skill they are at. They're gonna have everybody's gonna be together. The shelter English, they use a lot of instruction, a lot of visuals. They focus more in academic content, and the same at the same time they develop English language skills. Remember, in a structured English immersion, they only focus in English language skills, not with academic content. And also in shelter, they put it in levels. They depending on what level the student is, depending where they're gonna be, in what group they're gonna be. And the other one in a structured immersion, they don't do that. They put everyone together. Um, Now the way in Arizona is approached, everything is based on the shelter structure, shelter English instruction, and it is based so they design to help the students to learn the English language, and it's gonna be focused teaching. It's gonna be focused on those developing language strategies. It has four principles. The way they develop the language, the, these four are based on assets based on expectations. This means they're gonna take in consideration the culture and the basic needs of the student. Where is he coming from? What are their needs? What is the support that he needs? And they're gonna try to put the culture on the teaching. The principle two is integrating instruction in this disciplinary language and content. It's um, it's a combination of literacy with content, and then they do some differentiation on the on how they do the instruction, and target and explicit language instruction. It's intentional English instruction to support the kids that are learning English. They're gonna use language uh, prophecy standards with English standards to help to teach the language. So it's gonna be really, really with intention. And the four principle is assessments, is how they're gonna assess these students, so they know how they're growing, where are they needing what support. Is all this data that they're gonna collect, so that they can say this is not working, this is not working, we need to change the strategy. So that is the four principle. So they always monitor the students, how they're doing and how is the growth. Now, where is this all this coming? What is the approach sentence? Well, they do it to the language. Everybody in the school, all the staff, is responsible to promote the success for these learners. All the all the instruction, it comes in the content. It's also cultural responding teaching, so it also takes care of the culture, like it involves the culture of the student. They make sure that they're communicating with the family and the community. So there are also communication between the school and the family of the student, and they're trying to target also the community, what is happening in the community. But this kind of approach, it has to say that it's effective for some students, not all the students. Um, Now, they put the student agency. Why is important? Well, it is important because this is gonna make sure that the teaching is not just one way. It's making sure that the student is engaged, has creativity under learning. They wanna keep learning. It's gonna also make the difference that they're working in groups. They are solving critical thinking problems, solving doing based research projects, and all this is going to enrich that learning. That's why it's also important the student agency, because that's the key that's going to promote the engagement on the students. There's four ways. There are four models that Arizona uses. The new incomer. This model is when a student just came to the United States. They have been less than 2 years studying English. So for this type of students, they're gonna be in 4 hours just learning the skills of the language. Then they're gonna have another 2 hours of core math, science, social studies, and they're also gonna have another 2 hours of just English again. The pull out is when students are taken out of the classroom and they are taught English for 2 hours. The 2 hour is just the student is gonna be taught for 2 straight hours English, just instruction. And the 50-50 is when a student is gonna be 50% of the time learning in their home language and then 50% in English. So those are the four approved base models that Arizona uses. Another point is how do they say where student is going, or why did they qualify for the EL program? Well, there's two steps. There is a home language surveys, and it's also a test that is a standardized test that the kids are gonna take. Between these two are gonna it's gonna give the enough information to see if the student needs to be in a English learning program. When they make this test, when the kids take this test, there's some things that they have to take on consideration, like if they're gonna take the standardized test on paper or online. if it's on paper, if they need uh, a grip for them to hold the pencil. See if it's online, if they need a special furniture to sit down. So they are, if they need in either way, online or on pencil, if the kid needs to be removed from the classroom and needs a quiet space to do the test, or if it needs a one-on-one, all these accommodations, they're gonna do it because they want to see how much the student knows. If the student has disabilities, then they had to do some accommodations for the student they are in the IEP. Um, just like if they need somebody to read the instructions for them, or maybe they need somebody to go, they're gonna give, the student's gonna be the answer, and then the person or the staff is gonna fill the bubbles answer for the multiple choices. All these kinds are gonna be looking at what does the student need. With all this, we can say that also the parents have rights. What are the rights of the parents of these students being on the program, on the English learning program? Well, they have the right of information, to have all the information in their own language so they can understand what is the program about, how long they're going to be in there, and how's the progress. Also, they have the right to consent, to say yes, I want my child to be in this program, or no, I don't want my child to be in this program. Or if the child is in that program but they see it's not working, they can also say, I don't want them anymore. They also have the right to make sure that their kid, it has the same services and the same programs as the other students, that they are only English speaking. They have the right to participate in all the decisions making on their child. And they have the right to make sure that they're having the right assessment and that they're having the right data. Also, they have the right to appeal, to say, I want this change, or I want to keep it for a longer time. So this was it for me. Thank you.